A big hello and thanks for joining us for a special edition of PopStart Plus. I'm Joe Fryer filling in for Carson. Today on the show, we're taking a moment to indulge in the past and revisit our favorite nostalgic summer movies. We're going to take a look at why we feel the way we do when we watch those older summer flicks. And you're killing me, Smalls. Today, contributor Donna Ferris spoke to the cast of a movie that defines the season, The Sandlot. We found out why it still resonates today. And to close out our special show, we've got our friend Chris Witherspoon, founder and CEO of Pop Viewers. He's counting down the most nostalgic summer movie scenes of all time. Stay with us for all of that. It'll be great. To kick things off, here's a deep dive into how watching nostalgic films makes us feel, especially during the heat of summer.
Summer in itself is a great example of a trigger for nostalgia because it connotes many of the attributes that accompany nostalgia, such as longing for the carefreeness, the leisure of childhood. But when you watch something like a movie that's set at summer camp, you've got so many stimuli there that are reminding us that in our hectic, busy lives, should we not occasionally take a break?
So, either of you by any chance know how to play poker? Yeah, never played it before.
Roosevelt, how's that lanyard coming?
Horrible.
Film is a really good example of a medium that has all of the triggers for different kinds of sensory experiences, visual, auditory, such as the music in a film. And so you have all these varieties of sensory stimuli that help you to mentally transport yourself in two ways, by the way. One, when you're just remembering the past, you're transporting yourself back to that time. An interesting finding recently showed that when people just reminisce nostalgically, they even feel a little more healthy and vibrant, and they have more vitality. Why? Because when you transport yourself back, you're feeling a little bit of the feelings you felt when you were younger. Nostalgic films, especially for looking back to your beloved favorite childhood movies, those were a source of great comfort.
Shut up! You're killing me, Smalls. Dear Darla, I hate your stinking guts.
Their time! Up there! Down here, it's our time! It's our time down here!
In fact, in film, for example, we believe from the research data that there are characters in movies that serve as surrogates for us. So when you watch a film that you loved in the past, not only are you remembering when you watched it, with whom did you watch it, the conversations you had at the time, maybe you went out to the movies with friends or what have you. But in addition to that, as you watch characters in films play out their own problems and resolve them through this vicarious resolution, you feel that hope and optimism, which is a lot like the happy ending of many stories that we've seen throughout our lives, right? If you wanted to log them according to seasons of the year, for instance, summer is a great time. And what operates as a nostalgic film, it could be something like Star Wars, Episode 1, for a generation who saw that for the first time, either as children, teenagers, or young adults. And to some extent, it's transporting them not just to the film and the enjoyment of the film, but also it gives someone the ability to reflect upon what did it mean to me when I saw that as a kid, and now what would I think of it now? So sometimes when we rewatch an old film, we're comparing our understanding as full-fledged adults, or our understanding now that we've lived through so much, with what we thought when we first saw it. Also, for the elderly today, they might think back to the great summer films that were beach movies. You know, the parties on the beach and playing volleyball on the beach. When you think about transportation mentally through a film, now you have added onto it that you might transport yourself to somebody else's past or to somebody else's experience, not necessarily your own. So fiction can be enjoyed and benefited from, even in terms of nostalgia. For instance, a lot of nostalgic films incorporate within the plot or within the character lines characters remembering back to their past.
I can still recall our last summer. I still see it all. Walks along the Seine, laughing in the rain.
I was the last one to move away, but when I did, the Sandlot was still there.
And then when you watch that, then that prompts you to sort of mentally transport yourself with that character back to their past as well. So it's very rich. Film is a very rich medium.
Our thanks to Professor Christine Batcho for sharing all of her findings and insights with us, a little better understanding of why those films make us feel so good. Still to come, even more nostalgia and more fun. Donna Farrison's chat with the Sandlot stars who played Yaya and Squints. Welcome back to our PopStart Plus special, all about nostalgic summer movies. Now, if you're a 90s kid, you'll remember the 1993 release of a movie about a ragtag pack who loved playing ball. And it changed how we think about summer forever. Today, contributor Donna Farrison spoke to two of the stars from The Sandlot, Chauncey Leopardi, who played Squints, and Marty York, who played Yaya. They shared the responses they still get about the movie set during a summer back in 1962.
Was the summer you filmed The Sandlot the best summer of your lives?
It was for sure the best summer of my life.
Yeah.
I don't think anything, compares to it since then. And I think we just had a blast. It was summer camp for like 2 or 3 months that we filmed over the summer, and definitely the best.
Yeah, it was pretty great. It's hard to beat. Obviously, I love my family, and I wouldn't want my wife to think that, my 11-year-old summer was the best summer of my life. But it was pretty awesome, hanging out with friends and having that experience, and then getting to share it with the rest of the world forever. It's just a pretty amazing thing.
This film represents the best of summer, the 4th of July celebrations, the carnival, kids playing ball, the s'mores, you name it. There's so many different elements. Why do you think The Sandlot is a film that has defined summertime for a lot of people?
It takes people back to an era of the United States where kids went outside and they played, and when the sun went down, that's when they went home.
I want you to get out into the fresh air and make some friends. Run around, scrape your knees, get dirty.
You had adventures during the day.
It'll be 30 years next year, first of all. How does that feel for you guys?
It's amazing. I mean, anytime you do a film, you never know what the results are going to be. But to still be here talking about this 30 years later, and to see it still affecting people's lives for the better is that's kind of why you're in the arts. It's the reason that you want to do. That's what you set out when you have passion about a project, is to hope that you get one that changes things forevermore. So it's a blessing, and we appreciate all the love and support that we've gotten over the years.
What were your favorite scenes to film for each of your characters?
I loved all of the baseball stuff. Obviously, was a lot of fun. When we played the other team, it was a blast. Filming the whole chase scene, we did that for 2 weeks. So just the dog chasing Benny and all the different stuff. That was a lot of fun as well. I think that there's something to find that was cool about everything. And even in the treehouse stuff, that treehouse was amazing. This is when they really built sets for film still. There was no green screens or anything like that. So that was all real craftsmanship. A carpenter, the construction guys on set actually built those sets. So they were so cool and so in depth. Mr. Myrtle's house, and it was a really cool time in filmmaking because you still had all of the crafts really showcasing their work, whereas now maybe things are a little bit more reliant on computer generated software and stuff like that. So it was a cool time to kind of see them fabricate this really cool film and these really cool sets.
Obviously, my favorite scene was going over the fence to come face to face with the beast and being on that crane. And it's really cool because, back then, kids could do their own stunts, which would never happen nowadays. And just a lot of the stuff that I didn't even see till the final picture came out. The 4th of July scene, we filmed that with just literally lights and gels that they put in front to make it look like fireworks were going off. You know, when we filmed that, it didn't seem that iconic to me until you put Ray Charles to it, until you put the fireworks in the sky. And when we saw the final product, we were like, wow, like that really, like, you know, that's an amazing scene. So it's just movie magic.
God done shed his grace on thee.
What kind of memories do people, you know, tell you that they have that are related to The Sandlot? What do the fans come up to you and say?
Everybody that relates to Squints that has the glasses, or like, you know, I get a lot of the pictures and the photos. Sometimes as growing up, having glasses is always like a, you know, something that people could be a little reserved about or feel like they get picked on a little bit. So it's cool to have that cool character that people can relate to, that makes them feel like this is a superpower, not the opposite.
How do you think The Sandlot has helped empower young people to feel more included, be more inclusive, and, you know, feel okay to embrace their differences?
It's awesome because this is a bunch of kids of all shapes, colors, and sizes. They're all different. They all have their own little thing. And, you know, the main character is a kid that's filling out a place and coming from somewhere else and really not fitting in. And it starts off with like his struggle of like, you know, trying to connect with his stepfather and trying to connect with these kids in this new neighborhood. And it takes a guy like Benny, who is obviously a very strong character and an amazing baseball player and a total star, to just say, you know, leave him alone. We need an extra guy, and this guy's gonna be it, you know? So it's about including people regardless of, you know, what the masses feel. So I think it has a lot to say about, you know, real American values, because that's what America is. It's a melting pot of different cultures and different people that you know, find common ground to create a better life for themselves.
Really cool to hear from those two. We're going to share more from them after the break, including what it was like to film that famous pool scene featuring Squints and Wendy Peppercorn. Welcome back to our special episode of PopStart Plus. Let's pick back up with Donna Farison's conversation with two stars from The Sandlot, Marty York and Chauncey Leopardi, who spoke about that very pivotal pool scene and the impact it's had on young kids today.
Chauncey, you were talking about, you know, Wendy Peppercorn and that pool scene, which is so iconic, when your character almost drowns and then gets saved by the lifeguard that everyone has a crush on. What do you remember from shooting that scene?
God, he looks like a dead fish.
It was really cold. It was a really hot summer, but during the time that we shot the pool scene, it had dipped down into like the 70s, and we were shooting early mornings for the light, and it was freezing cold. So in a lot of those scenes, you can see us like shivering in the pool. Or I know it was like a big anticipation for me leading up to that. I kept asking the director, you know, is today the day? Is today the day? You know what I mean? It was my first kissing scene, so, you know.
Wow.
Pretty exciting.
That is exciting. That's amazing. Just as we talked about earlier too, so much that has happened, or the emotions that are evoked from The Sandlot, translate into real life as well. On the Today Show, Hoda recently interviewed the three boys who had saved the dad who became unconscious underwater in their pool. It's an amazing story. They performed CPR on him, saved his life, and they credited learning CPR through watching The Sandlot and through that specific scene.
Now, who took a CPR class? Raise your hand. Nobody? But you did know, because what was one of your favorite movies?
The Sandlot.
What was your reaction to that news?
That's just incredible. You know, like, here we are 30 years later, and something that someone saw that we did 30 years ago saved their father's life. I mean, it makes you want to tear up, because it's such a beautiful thing. And, you know, wherever we get the information from, it's great, you know. So to be the force that helped them do that for their father, you know, I'll never forget it.
Every time I come across a fan of The Sandlot, they always talk about it in a way that, you know, they feel so comforted and cozy when watching it. It brings them back to a different time. Why do you think people feel so comforted when watching The Sandlot?
It's timeless. The way David Mickey Evans, the writer and director, shot it, he told the DP, Tony Richmond, he told him, I want it to look like Kodak chromatic film. So that's like an old, very pop arty type of film from the 60s. And he said, I want it to look like that. And I think because of the setting, had he have done it in the 90s when we shot it and placed it present day, I don't think it would have lasted and stood the test of time. It's like a Bel Air, it's like a 57 Chevy, it's something that the lines on it are going to be clean forever, and no matter what, you're always going to get a nostalgic feeling when you go see these old cars at these car shows, and just a storied time in American history. And because it's just frozen in time, I think that it stands the test of time, because it is a time capsule, like Marty said. It takes you to a happy place where, good or bad, we felt like everything was a little bit simpler.
Thank you to Marty and Chauncey for hanging out with us. Still to come, we've queued up some of the most nostalgic summer movie scenes of all time. Do we got any Parent Trap fans out there? Stick with us. Welcome back to our special episode of PopStart Plus. We are diving into everything you need to know about nostalgic summer movies. And who better to guide us along than Chris Witherspoon? He is the founder and CEO of Pop Viewers, and he's about to take us on a lovely trip down memory lane with some of the most nostalgic summer movie scenes ever.
Is there anything that beats the warm weather, the long sun-filled days, and fun that comes with summertime? Whether you went to camp or hung out by the pool, spent time with family and friends, or had 7 jobs like me, summer was always filled with terrific memories of growing up. Unfortunately, we'll never be kids again, but luckily, we'll always have movies to turn to that transport us back to those days, no matter what decade you grew up in. Let's count down as we watch some of the best nostalgic summer movie scenes of all time. First up, Weekend at Bernie's. It's an absolute classic. Now grab your sunblock and flip-flops because you'll be wanting to enjoy a weekend at the beach after watching this one. In it, Jonathan Silverman and Andrew McCarthy play friends who are invited for a weekend at their boss's opulent beach house. Lots of shenanigans ensue that ultimately lead to their boss, Bernie's, death. But to avoid ruining their weekend, Richard and Larry pretend he's still alive. Let's take a look at the clip.
You're probably right.
Get it together, Bernie.
Here we go, shoot, move it over a little bit, okay, baby?
I don't understand why we have to move him, Rich. Oh, don't ask me any questions, Larry. Just move him.
Oh. Here we go.
Ready? I can't believe I'm touching a dead body.
Here's your boss. Come on. Let's go. Whoa.
Oh, Bernie.
I want to get her up.
Oh, Bernie, you're
on this, darling. Come on.
That's what you call some dead weight.
Come on, let's go. Come on. He's crazy. Here we go.
Wait, is there an award for playing the best dead guy? If so, Terry Kaiser deserves it. If you're looking to laugh like there's no tomorrow, add this film to your summer watch list. Next up, one of almost everyone's favorites, The Notebook. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams killed these roles as lovers who were always meant to be together. Who could forget the moment when Noah and Allie reunited after 7 years apart? Did he just pick that boat up with his bare hands? I think he did.
I waited for you for 7 years. Now it's too late.
I wrote you 365 letters. I wrote you every day for a year.
You wrote me?
Yes. It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
Ooh. That's a kiss right there. Ooh. Talk about a hot girl summer. Even all that rain couldn't cool those two down. On to another fun one, Ferris Buellers Day Off. Now, if you watch this as a teen, then you got tons of ideas of how to spend the perfect day playing hooky. Matthew Broderick stars, of course, as Ferris Bueller, and the movie starts a month before Ferris's high school graduation. Ferris ends up at a museum, a baseball game, a fancy restaurant, you name it. One of the most hilarious moments was when his teacher realizes he's missing from class. Let's watch this clip.
Anderson.
Here.
Bueller. Bueller. Bueller.
He's sick. My best friend's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend heard from this guy who knows this kid is going with the girl who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night.
Now she can lie.
Pretty serious.
That's a good lie.
Thank you, Simone.
No problem whatsoever.
Fry.
Oh my God. Ben Stein's boring, monotone delivery gets me every time. And P.S., find yourself a coworker that will be your alias next time you want to ditch work on a summer Friday. Everybody needs one of those. Now, Clueless is one of those timeless movies following a group of popular high school friends. If you didn't know, it's a modernization of Jane Austen's Emma, and it's got an amazing cast. Alicia Silverstone and Paul Rudd, and of course, the late, great Brittany Murphy. Just to name a few. Check out this scene where Cher, played by Silverstone, makes the case for not participating in PE class.
Earth to Cher! Come in, Cher!
Oh my God. Miss Stoger, I would just like to say that physical education in this school is a disgrace. I mean, standing in
gym
line
outfits.
for 40 minutes is hardly
Different
aerobically
outfits.
effective. I doubt I've worked off the calories in a stick of carefree gum.
Come on, Cher. I feel like in this scene, Cher could have just said, as if, and been done with it. Clueless does take place throughout all 4 seasons, but real talk, those Beverly Hills vibes will have you feeling like you're on vacation. Another fun summer love story with lots of dancing. You guessed it, Dirty Dancing. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze play Baby and Johnny, and the two fall in love after being paired as dance partners. Now, one of the most iconic movie lines ever came from the scene where Johnny proclaims his love for Baby before the movie's final epic dance performance. Let's watch.
Nobody puts Baby in a corner.
Tell him.
Sorry about the disruption, folks. But I always do the last dance of the season. But this year, somebody told me not to. So I'm gonna do my kind of dancing with a great partner.
Sit down.
It's not only a terrific dancer.
Dirty dance.
Somebody who's taught me that there are people willing to stand up for other people, no matter what it costs them.
The best part's yet to come. I am declaring it now. Nobody puts Baby in the corner is one of the most iconic movie lines of all time. Try to tell me it's not. Alas, if only all of our summers could end with a sultry summer dance routine. And next up, one of my favorites, Poetic Justice. Janet Jackson, Regina King, and Tupac Shakur gave legendary performances in this film. They play friends who road trip to Oakland, California, and basically fall in love along the way. Poetic Justice is another one of those films that will definitely have you crying and laughing, but I love this scene where the friends crashed a random family barbecue. Let's take a look.
I don't think so.
My cousin. Look at my family over here. My cousins. What's up, cousin? How you doing, boy? Cousin. What's up, cousin? What's up? Boy, I ain't seen you and I don't know where. Yeah.
Janet Jackson knows how to give a good stank face, and sometimes all you gotta say is cousin. Now, you guys, I'm pleading the fifth on if I've ever crashed a barbecue for a burger. Please don't judge me. And last, but certainly not least, I doubt you've ever gone a summer without watching this one. The Parent Trap. The remake stars Lindsay Lohan and tells the story of twin sisters who meet and realize they are really sisters at summer camp. The moment they see each other and realize how much they look alike is priceless. Let's take a look. A new camp champ, come on. Those freckles get me every time.
Why is everyone staring?
Do we have Kleenex handy?
See what?
Please? I need them.
Resemblance between
This part gets me every time.
Resemblance between you and me?
Oh my God, every time that movie gets me. You know, I watched this movie so many times as a kid, and you couldn't tell me Lindsay Lohan didn't have a twin sister in real life. It's definitely one to add to the rotation, y'all. Okay, we just gave you a taste of a few surefire summer flicks. Now I know we outside again, but with this summer heat, nothing beats a good old movie night. We hope you have a blast watching or rewatching some of our favorite picks.
So many great recommendations. Our thanks to Chris for bringing them to us and for giving us all a boost with your terrific reactions. We should mention you can download the Pop Viewers app from the App Store. That was our PopStart Plus Nostalgic Summer Movie Special here on Today All Day. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you had as much fun as we did revisiting some of our favorite films from the past. It's been a pleasure to bring them to you. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.